Tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Hello, 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 fellow Domies. This is episode 11 of season 3 of Under the Dome. I am your host, Jacque Borowski, and with me is Amanda Fields-Bennett.
Dancing to
Love is a Battlefield. That is the name of the episode, Love is a Battlefield. There's no way you can turn my headset up over there. That's off. Oh, wait. No, I can't hear anything.
Okay, let's adjust it.
I'm sorry.
We're just going to fix it while we're
There we
on
go.
the air.
That's so much better. I'm so sorry, guys.
But it's a live show, so that's what happens.
That is what happens on a live show. So we have, let's start off with our team. We have a lot of things going on at the daycare, which I think is ironic considering there's a birth happening here, that there's so many things going on at the daycare, which is the most hideously decorated daycare that I've ever seen.
It's very obviously a set that they wanted to make look like a daycare and not a pre-existing daycare.
Yeah, and they just keep... It's so funny because the daycare is so distracting. It's like they went into a whole bunch of different like yard sales and stores and grabbed everything they could and threw it together on a set. And I'm like, everything just looks like barf. And I know that a lot of things... When you have a daycare, there are a lot of toys and decorations, but this is just a big old mess.
Like random flowers on the wall, sunshines...
And then, like, pillows that don't go with the chairs that are all kinds of, like, different patterns.
Pieces of foam under the dome. You know, the little, like, puzzle piece. Like,
yes.
foam. Like, it's supposed to just basically be in one area of the floor, and it's, like, on the wall.
Yeah, I'm a Virgo, so, A, it's Virgo's birthday month. But
Ooh.
B, that means that insanely poorly decorated and disorganized things drive me crazy.
I could see that.
Yes.
I mean, it kind of drives me crazy when I'm trying to focus on what's happening in the scene and then they like zoom or pan around the room and then it's like, what is that giant sunshine doing staring down at me? Like, it doesn't...
I should mention randomly that James is not with us tonight. He couldn't be here, but he will be here next week. I will not be here next week. If you want to find James, he's at E Black Hope? No.
Black Hope LA.
Black Hope LA. E Black Hope, I think, is his Instagram.
He has a couple of different Twitter accounts.
If you find hashtag James Law Jr., you have found him.
Yes.
He has his own hashtag.
He's all over Twitter all the time.
Yes.
In fact,
you can find me on my website, 123jackieb.com, and that's where my Twitter and Instagram are. And Amanda Fields, where can they find you?
You guys, I'm sorry, I'm just looking at Twitter because I want you to tweet me at The Runway Queen, and I'm also The Runway Queen on Instagram.
So we have our team at the daycare. We have them looking for a cure. We have a couple... Under the Dome is starting to become overwhelming in the sense that there seem to be so many subplots going on that I'm having a hard time keeping track of who's what where. We don't entirely know if some of our team members are loyal. We have this problem.
Oh, you mean the Resistance?
Yes.
Yes.
We don't know if some of them are loyal to the Resistance or not. We had that big twist at the end where we learned that Junior is not part of the Resistance. But let's actually start with Nori. Nori, who was... she shot someone in the last episode, which
and it
seemed very unnecessary.
Well, I mean, she was trying to save Julia, and so she did the first thing that she thought of, which all of a sudden is killing someone.
After
in
the first
head.
time you learn how to use a gun.
Yeah, perfectly in the center of her forehead. I don't know if that would work. I mean, I feel like the first time shooting a gun, you might get her arm or something.
Yeah, she was a pretty darn good shot for having that one session with the gunman. I don't actually know his name. If you know his name, please let us know.
But I think Nori, I wrote down, she has a fierce walk in the forest. She's like got her gun and she's walking through with Julia and she looks like she's ready to tackle anything. She all of a sudden looks really strong and looks like kind of like more like Julia than even Julia does right now.
It's funny that you say that because when I saw that scene, I was like, Nori looks like her hair is not very red. And I know that's the weirdest thought to have, but I keep thinking that our two main
Do you want me
females,
to
actually
keep
three
it?
main females are redheads.
I'll
And
keep
so I'm
it
like,
real for you right now. I have a feeling, I'm not so sure, but I have a feeling that the actress that plays Julia probably gets hair color done.
Oh, of course.
And then Nori probably is a real redhead.
Yes.
So real red hair doesn't quite look so red on camera.
That makes sense. That makes sense.
Redhead expert.
You learn something new every day
Yes,
here on
yes.
AfterBuzz TV.
And then,
So
of course,
Nori's-
Christine, of course, has got her color going because, you know, as we know, she's a little older. But
Yeah.
as we all want to get our hair color done from time to time. So
That is true.
You know.
That is true. I color my hair.
Highlights, lowlights, red lights, green
Red light
lights.
district here on Under the
Woo,
Dome.
Oh, my God. Anyway, so Nori
Nori's-
definitely looks...
She's dealing with her repercussions of shooting this person in the last episode, and she goes up and asks the gunman, "How does it feel? Does it get any easier?" And he's like, "It just gets better each time you shoot somebody." And I'm like, "Why? Why would you say that
Why
to
would you say
somebody?
that to a young, impressionable
This is
girl like
terrible
Nori?
advice."
But he's saying it's like, oh, it doesn't hurt so much. Like, it's a little bit easier. It doesn't... You don't feel as guilty. And he's like, do you feel guilty? And she's like, actually, I feel nothing.
Which is weird. I wonder...
Like, is she creeping back into the dark side?
Yeah, it worries me because we have these little signs that people are not as they should be, and we know everyone is walking the line of being human and alien because of their emotions, because of the amethyst, and I wonder if that just means that she doesn't feel anything because that person wasn't a human at the time. She doesn't feel anything because she's starting to become an alien again.
Part of me is wondering if Hector's story about the dormant ones coming back to the, you know, pod people side, I don't know if that's true or if he's just trying to say that to them to make it easier for them to leave the dome, like the resistance. Well, the people that were always human, Big Jim and Julia, are they the only two left that were never in the pod?
Yes.
So he's trying to make it easier for Big Jim and Julia to leave the dome, and he's trying to tell them, oh, well, they're going to always be infected.
I feel like Hector was saying that, though, not necessarily as a character motivation or a character line, but I feel like that was the writers putting something in the back of your head to say, okay, at any time that you think these characters are okay, they might not be.
It's kind of keeping you on the edge of your seat.
Yes.
Which is interesting and a cool way to kind of make it stay exciting.
I feel like it's everyone's part of an espionage, you know, that people are double crossing and triple crossing each other. And to a level that sometimes it drives me a little bit crazy because
I'm like, what side are you on?
Yeah, I don't want to keep wondering, aren't they or aren't they for every single character. That's exhausting.
You just said aren't they or aren't they?
Aren't they or aren't they?
Because that's how it makes you feel sometimes.
Yes, it makes you feel exhausted that you can't speak.
Oh, but you know, I really like how Nori kind of stands up to Big Jim, which again is more Julia-esque. She comes back to the house. She has her gun. She's toting her gun from just killing this woman to save Julia's life. And she's like, whatever, Big Jim, you're not my dad. I can do what I want. And
I do what I want, Big Jim.
Yeah,
I do what I want.
You're not my dad. Which is, of course, very, like,
it's very hilarious because
of her.
she doesn't ever, I mean, she has the sperm donor, but she doesn't have, she never had a dad.
Whichever person that fathered her is still out there in the world somewhere.
That's true.
So she might be still wondering about her birth dad.
I would hope that she's at least just missing her moms, because she had some pretty cool moms.
I know. Not saying that he needed to be in the picture necessarily, because he was more of the sperm donor, but still. Speaking of missing her moms, actually, I will save that for later, but there's a big tie-in with her mom that recently died in an episode when she was in the caves.
Right.
To this episode.
Yes.
So I want to mention that later when we get there.
I want to say, the next thing I want to say is, what is the deal with Hector? I don't understand because Hector is waffling in a sense that I can't figure out what his character wants or what is going on with him, because he seems to be acting as if he wants to kill everybody, and we know this, he said this, but then he's letting them go through with the cure, which doesn't seem to actually be a cure, so I can't really tell if the character is doing a bluff with the cure, like saying, oh, this is a cure, but he's just doing it like
Hector
to fool people.
There must be.
But in that case, I'm sorry, but
sorry.
In that case, if you're going to inject people with something and your goal is to kill them all, wouldn't you just say this is the cure and then you inject them with it and then they die? It doesn't make sense to me
to
that
say
he's
that
like,
there needs to be a test.
Yeah, he's like, let's test and try to find this cure. And why would you do that if your ultimate goal is not to do that anyway?
I think he has to tread lightly because look at who he's around. I mean,
but he's
Big
like
Jim will
the boss of them.
Hector is someone that I'm not so sure I can trust for a couple of reasons. One thing is, okay, he's a new character.
Right.
And he says he's with Acteon, but I'm not so sure we can trust Acteon. And then he's coming in here. We know he's covered up the secret about Lily's father.
Right.
However long it is. We don't know how many years, does it say?
Right. I don't know. But we know also that he wanted to destroy the files, but Lily saved the files. So he's trying
The files, which we are going to, I guess, uncover in the next couple of weeks.
Well, part of the files had what happened to Lily's dad, Patrick, in them. Mm-hmm. So we know that he was trying to hide that. And we know that he was trying to hide the history of what Acteon was doing. And then we know that he kind of feels like he wants to cure people, but kind of wants to kill them all.
This is the craziest thing about Hector and Lily. And the whole Acteon thing is they already knew that this happened to Lily's dad. So why not get everyone out of the dome right after it comes down? What the hell? Sorry, but like, if they already know that Lily's dad, Patrick, is going to go, he's gone through all these things because of this alien pod people race, then how could you let people stay under the dome for so long when there's like a red door exit route? Like,
well, it was interesting because a lot of the fans were messaging about that red door. We had Impultastic and Michelle Fitzgerald mention that the red door, which is correct, I didn't remember this, is only a way into the dome, and then
they used to jump down in the cave.
They used to jump down in the caves, but then that got closed up when Lyle fell down there. So I guess there really isn't an exit at this point.
Phil from the radio station also fell down there.
Right. So I guess there is no exit, but it seems to me, I don't know.
It seems like they gave up on finding an exit.
Yeah, and it's always been kind of unclear to me in this season because I felt like the scientists who were working for Acteon could freely move inside and outside of the dome, and maybe that was not the case. But
no, that's what they're making it look like.
It appeared that way. Let us know, tweet us, comment, if you thought that the members of Acteon could find a way clearly inside and outside of the dome. Not just in, but in and out.
They know a lot more about the dome than the people in the dome.
Yes. Yes.
Domies don't know. That just sounds so weird, but I had to say it. Okay. Well, I also really... I was kind of like thinking that this dome baby was gonna look really crazy when it was first born. I don't know about you guys out there, what you thought. I want to know. Tweet us, please, what you thought this dome baby was gonna look like, because I was shocked.
I was shocked that it looked like a normal baby.
Yeah.
I definitely thought it was going to be a snake.
Yeah,
I thought it was going to be a snake because of the way her stomach rippled, and maybe that was a hand, but it felt like a snake.
I was like, if it's supposed to be fingertips, they look like an adult hand. It's either an adult hand or a snake. They did play a rattlesnake noise when the baby was moving in the belly, so I'm like, is that just a trick to make us think that it's going to look like a rattlesnake? But we're like, is it going to be pink, purple? Is it going to look like an egg? Like, what the heck? Like, is it a baby even? Is it some kind of creature monster? So
the way it moved to me and the way it looked was like a Muppet worm.
something
Where
from
it's just,
Fraggle
like,
Rock.
big and exaggerated and kind of jerky weird.
Well, and also how crazy that she went from getting pregnant to having a baby in 4 days.
That is crazy. What's crazier is that they've been under the dome for only 4 weeks and all these things have happened.
Yeah, 4 weeks later.
So let's get into our love triangle with Julia and Barbie and Ava and the alien baby.
And it has come full term. Oh.
Yeah. Heyo. So we have Barbie is not trusted by Big Jim, and Big Jim doesn't want to give away his location because we're still, according to Big Jim, we're still on the fence whether or not Barbie can join the team.
Well,
Julie is fully Team Barbie is with us, but Jim points out that she will want to protect her baby. He will want to protect their baby.
Mm-hmm. And then as we find out, they were also protecting themselves from Christine finding out where they are.
Yes.
Because it's like wherever Eva goes and that baby goes, Christine's going to follow. So,
In this episode, we learned how to forcibly make someone give birth without using any sort of medicine or inducement medicine.
how about, Julia just
You
kind
can
of...
literally pound some... Is this scientifically possible?
I don't think so.
I
I don't think you can, like, press a pregnant belly and a baby comes out.
And that was the fastest, and I understand that in this this birth has been accelerated from the start, but she literally went into labor in the span of went into labor and gave birth in a span of like 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, like 5 minutes, yeah. And so, I mean, she was trying to hold it together until Christine could get there. But it's like in a normal, quote unquote normal, every labor is different, of course. But in a relatively normal birthing situation, she would have been laying on the bed for at least an hour, for heaven's sakes, at least.
Right?
Like, there would have been plenty of time for Christine to get there. But no, Barbie and Julia are like, let's get that baby out of here.
Let's pound your stomach. And there was one point where Barbie pulls out the knife, and I literally thought he was going to cut her open, and I'm like, please.
I thought you were...
I'm not prepared. I'm not prepared for this.
I thought you were recoiling in disgust because you thought he was going to kill the baby. And I was like, this is so out of character. I was like, no, he's cutting the cord.
I didn't actually, because the way it seemed to me, it was so fast, I didn't actually think the baby was out yet. I literally thought he was going to tear open her vagina with a knife.
Oh, no.
And because the show has gone into some very violent points, namely a lot of them being in this episode, but there was a baseball bat incident that I shall remind us of, I was not putting that aside that was not a possibility.
Oh, you mean when Barbie brutally murdered the construction worker?
Yes.
Okay. Or contractor, I should say.
Contractor. So I did think it was a possibility that he could tear her open with a knife, and then realized that he was just cutting the cord, and I felt good about that.
I was like, no. I was like, that would not make any sense for his character to start chopping her up. Like,
but these two, I can't believe they handed the baby back to Ava.
Oh!
I can't believe that you get this far and you do that.
I'm making awful noises because I am so disgusted.
I can't believe they did that.
Disgusted. Because the baby comes out so beautiful and sweet and all 10 fingers and all 10 toes. And then, Ava's like, well, I mean, she has to eat. I have to feed her. Big mistake. Huge mistake.
And then we have this moment where she's breastfeeding and we see the alien life force moving into
the purple veins in her body popping out. Like,
we see the alien life force moving into the baby.
Purple eyes, purple veins in the baby.
Ava has completely... What I don't get is I did think that Christine was going to die immediately when the baby was born.
Christine? Oh, you mean Ava?
No, I mean Christine. I thought Christine, because she is the reigning queen, I thought she kept saying, I don't have any time left. I'm running out of time. So I thought that...
Her, like, term of life is over.
Yes, she kept saying that. So I was thinking, when the minute this baby is born, Christine's going to drop down dead. Because,
that would make more sense.
Because she was the reigning queen, and then she dies because the baby's born. And so now it's weird to me because Christine is, as far as we know, supposed to die soon, but they killed off the mom, and I know this baby probably has an accelerated growth process too, because we see in the previews it's older than a baby.
It looks like the same actress that plays Eva.
Yes. It is the same actress.
I mean, you guys could have hired a new actor.
It's the same actress with blue contacts and some, like, blue hair stuff. Hey,
disappointed.
She just wanted to expand her acting abilities. So I know it's an accelerated life process, but I still was thinking, doesn't the baby need more, like, nurturing and learning and growing up that is not coming just from a tape recorder? Why would the process be when we've talked about Christine being the queen and having to die, why would the process be for the life force to leave Ava, and then Ava's like, what has just happened? I just gave birth. That's weird.
She's like, whose baby is that? Is that my baby? No, it's not your baby.
And then in one
that might be my favorite line of the night. No, it's not your baby. Go back to sleep.
It's the second time that we've had that line because Ava said that to Barbie. There's a lot of it's not your baby going on. The baby belongs to the kinship.
This is like a Maury show. You are not the father.
You are not the father of the kinship. No. Of the queen of the kinship.
You're not the mother either. This baby is just on her own,
This baby is very special. So
special keyword.
In one of the second creepiest scenes of Under the Dome, we had
a lot of creepy scenes
1
tonight.
millionth creepy scenes of Under the Dome.
Yeah, this might be like the queen of creepy scenes episode.
Christine smothers Ava with a pillow while singing her a lullaby.
A sweet lullaby, like with a straight face.
It was very American Horror Story, if American Horror Story was poorly done.
Oh my God, this was really, really like... I mean, I know it's acting, obviously, and she was fine because she plays her own daughter later on. And
maybe that's why CBS did that. We want you to know this actress is actually okay.
Yeah, and we also want you to know that it's not the same person because she died on the show by Christine. So
yes.
They had to make it very dramatic.
Yes.
And how creepy when she pulled away the pillow. Oh, the worst. The worst.
Terrible.
And she's like singing a lullaby and she's like, yeah, okay, now I'm just going to carry this little baby around after I just killed your mom.
So creepy.
And then, okay, speaking of creepy, the Resistance manages to capture the uncapturable Junior Rennie.
Yes.
And they bring him into their daycare clutches.
Although, to be fair, Junior did just kind of walk into their zone. So I'm not really sure why Junior is the brilliant leader of the kinship. I don't know if the kinship really took notes on what was happening in Under the Dome seasons 1 and 2.
Maybe he's not really the brilliant leader. Maybe he's just convenient.
I'm quite sure he's convenient.
Yeah.
And maybe Christine was just like, I want me a piece of that. I will make him a major player in the kinship. Major player.
With my oxytocin. Ew.
I'm just glad they have not brought up oxytocin at all in this episode.
The goo.
It was starting to get gross with the goo smearing.
God. But to quote the girl with the dragon tattoo, they always walk in. I don't know if you read that or saw that, but you know what I'm talking about.
It's a good book.
It's pretty creepy. Anyway, I didn't even read the second 2 books out of that series because I was too creeped out.
They're really good.
Yeah. Well, maybe I'll revisit. However, okay, so Junior comes into the daycare room and they strap him down onto a cot. And they've tied up his arms and legs. And they're going to use him as the
test subject for the antidote for kinshipism which
And they find a hair of Christine.
I don't know why Hector's wasting his time because he doesn't seem to care about this anyway.
They're like,
So-
well, we have Christine's DNA finally, a hair that we found somewhere in the forest.
And Julia says that they shouldn't use it, which is correct. How much did we see it coming, though?
We just talked about how many redheads are in this episode. 3.
Yeah,
Are we sure that it was Christine's hair?
that's a good point.
Could be Julia's
That's
hair.
a good point.
Could be Nori's hair.
Guys, gotta check that out.
I just
So-
thought of that right now. So, anyway, I don't know if that's gonna come up. They
You
were pretty-
used the wrong hair!
Sorry, this was a natural redhead hair. That's from Nori.
Oh, but how much did you see it coming? You know, I did actually think that in the first instance when Junior was talking to them, that he had
Come back.
come back, which Junior's always had a tenuous relationship with his dad, but I did like that moment where Big Jim is finally showing some real fatherly emotion and trying to say things
Real
should be
love.
different. Yes, real love.
He was like, "Oh my God, I lost you. Like, I'm so happy that you're here. It's gonna be different now. We're gonna be together. We're gonna work at the used car dealership, father and son. It doesn't even matter what we sell. It could be anything. As long as you're happy and we're together, it's gonna be different this time."
But the moment he was saying, I need to cut your restraints, and then he goes to Hector and suggests it to Hector, and Hector's like, don't you dare do that. I'm like, oh gosh, this is going to be bad.
Well, also, I hate to say it because I want to be able to trust people when they're genuine and stuff, but I just felt like whenever Big Jim was having that big speech with Junior, I was like, either Junior's going to die in this episode or he's going to turn evil again. I just kind of knew it because it was too sweet for Under the Dome.
Yes, I did actually, I said this to you, I did actually think Junior was going to die because Under the Dome seems to be willy-nilly killing actors off, and maybe Alex Koch wants to be in a movie, I don't know. So,
Well, he should be. He's proven himself on this show.
Yes.
He's had a really
he's had a
interesting
really-
story.
Yeah, he's
And-
had to do a lot of really creepy, weird stuff.
And I think it's interesting to watch all these newer, well, not necessarily newer actors, but like actors that we haven't seen before, that we don't necessarily like follow. They've grown. They've all
Alex Koch,
grown so much. on the
Literally,
show.
this is his first show, so I wasn't sure if they were trying to do something surprising and kill him off, but I guess no, he's just gonna continue to run around and be evil. I do want to take
We're not so sure because they didn't really try to cure him the same way they cured the other people, like Barbie.
That's
they just
true.
injected Junior with something that we still don't know what it really is, and he was running a fever of 106 and sweating it out. But like they didn't try to reach him. I mean, they did in other episodes, but they didn't. I feel like while they had him strapped down, maybe they should try and talk about his childhood more and like.
But I feel that the other people, their cure is only temporary, because the idea is to kill this parasite that wants to live on humans and overtake the earth. So they do need to find something that's more permanent than just use your emotions until the parasite just completely overtakes you.
Oh my God. Whoa, crazy. That's very scary to think about. I mean, I'm sitting here kind of afraid. But
Under the Dome is very scary. I want to stop for just a minute to give some shout outs.
oh, do it.
We love it when you guys tweet us. We love comments, iTunes. Your comments and your ratings on iTunes keep AfterBuzz TV alive. It helps keep us visible and therefore helps keep the lights on here at AfterBuzz TV.
True.
No iTunes comments this week, but I will read iTunes comments on air. I do want to give shout outs to, first off, Omar, who is a Twitter follower of mine, who said, "Rollin' with the Domies."
What's up, Omar?
I want Clueless Under the Dome to be a hashtag right now. So excited about that.
Our producer just did this move like rolling with the homies.
Someone on YouTube last week when I talked about a poop emoji, someone who was a poop emoji wrote a comment on YouTube, and I was so thrilled about that.
That was their profile picture?
It was, a poop emoji. I was just thrilled.
Oh, my God.
Shout outs to Jamie Perez, Teresa Campbell, who watches a lot of our episodes and definitely does not think that they're going to be able to loop the four hands into the current storyline.
I'm wondering about that myself. I don't know if it's going to come out.
Also, shout out to Kat Harlem, and I don't know. I can't read my own handwriting. I think it's
gosh.
Picuegita. It's Picuegita, but I have really bad handwriting, so that might not be it. But shout out to you. And thank you for watching Under the Dome.
Thank you. And I'm going to follow that up with the creepiest thing in the whole episode is, speaking of Junior, he totally takes out a guy in the most disgusting way. I mean, there's a lot of disgusting ways, but he like totally manhandles his face. It was so creepy. It was like a mask. And then snapped his neck. Yeah. Just like it was nothing.
He brutally murdered the gunman.
And he had like more physical strength than before they injected him with the cure.
Which makes me wonder what Hector's doing.
And Hector was like, oh, well, you know, whatever's in them must be smarter than the antidote. It must be, you know, twice as strong as the cure. And it's like, what? You got to know more about it than you're letting on. I think Hector has this look in his eye every episode of knowing. He knows too much. He's not telling us everything that he knows about this whole story. Oh my God. Like, I feel like Hector might be a secret alien.
I don't think he's a secret
alien. He's like the whole reason that the dome is there. Hector, I feel like he's like pulling the strings.
There's definitely something fishy up with him. But we don't have much time left, but I do want to talk about Joe because this was my favorite scene in the whole episode. I don't know how they got the rights to the actual song Love is a Battlefield, but they did. And Joe has his headphones on and is singing Love is a Battlefield and then pretends like he doesn't love Pat Benatar. But we know you do, Joe.
Oh.
We know you do.
Everyone does.
Yes. And Christine berates him for...
He's like, oh, it was a record that was here. It was the only thing.
Sure, Joe. Christine berates him for not being serious about his bringing down the dome duties, but Barbie had asked him to stall so that they could try and cure people and save the baby and whatnot. Joe decides that they should split the amethyst into 7 pieces.
And they rolled that amethyst in. And I was like, this is the most ridiculous thing I've ever seen.
Amethyst-tastic. Which, by the way, it cracks me up that one of the...
cracks me up like the amethyst.
Like the amethyst. It cracks me up that one of the positive comments about Under the Dome that they show in the previews is dome-tastic. That's not a thing. You can't just say... Dome-tastic is not equal to fantastic. That's not a thing.
It's dome-tastic. But it's good. It's a thing now. Hashtag
That's
dome-tastic.
like saying feet are feet-tastic. It has no meaning.
Feet are feet-tastic.
They're so
though.
feet-tastic.
Well, it's okay. I'm gonna go with the okay on the dome-tastic. But yeah.
So Joe decides that there's some sort of tuning fork thing, like if you play the right keys in the music, it tingles the amethyst, and the amethyst brings the dome down, which actually just reminds me...
It tingles the amethyst.
Light
of the night.
It just reminds me of Masters of the Universe when they play that key. They have this like key synthesizer thing, and you play this tune that's like burr, 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 and then you get into the like different worlds on Masters of the Universe. I'm tone deaf, so I don't know the actual song.
Masters of the Universe.
The live action He-Man movie that is amazing and has Dolph Lundgren as He-Man.
Oh, okay. I need to watch it.
If you want to see Dolph Lundgren at his best, it is him as He-Man. Okay. Now he's just old and on Expendables number 84.
Does She-Ra make an appearance?
No, she does not, unfortunately.
Oh, man.
I always wanted that as a kid. I always wanted She-Ra to come in and be like, you guys are messing things up. But,
yeah, like Julia.
But Courtney Cox is on that. Courtney Cox is on there.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I'm
So
on
they
board.
stole that amethyst idea from the very critically acclaimed Masters of the Universe.
Critically acclaimed.
Critically acclaimed by 7-year-old me.
Okay. That sounds good. I was just going to say, Christine was like, well, she tries to explain this, and it just sounds so laughable. Well, the amethysts conduct a tone into the egg to act as a key to unlock the dome and bring it down. It's like, what the what?
Yes. When these people write these things, I wonder if the first draft just says jargon, science, stuff. And then
egg,
right.
amethyst.
And then they ask a couple people, or
like,
they just ask the actors to improv it. Think of
like,
something that sounds like it could go
What
there.
makes sense with the dome and amethyst and like the pods and the pink stars falling?
Go with it.
Make it up. It doesn't matter anymore. But anyway, that was her theory. And then she's like, we only have one amethyst left. So you know what we're going to have to do? We're going to have to break up the amethyst into 7 pieces. And I thought she was talking about the tiny amethyst that was on Joe's desk that he was testing out with the whistling.
Nope. They brought in the big one.
And
they brought in the big amethyst guns.
And I was like, oh, you mean you have 2 left? Because there was a little one right there on the desk.
They brought in They brought in favorite day player number 1 to help Joe break that amethyst up, and we shall see what happens in the next episode.
Joe starts coloring. He starts coloring on the amethyst.
He's like, break it where I put the marker.
Are you sure this is our last one? It's our only hope. That's what I wanted him to say.
Any
Star
last?
Wars.
Yes.
It's our only hope.
It's our
The amethyst. Joe.
I also want to just call out Amanda's favorite part of this episode, which was Ava's backstory about one drop of blood. There's a broken piece of him and a broken piece of me.
And I'm
singing
and we went
an emo song.
Camping. And then, a year later, they were divorced.
I feel like these are lyrics to like a My Chemical Romance song that they just wrote out and she read them.
I'm sorry, but when people go into these backstories, I kind of chuckle because I'm like, that didn't really ever happen. Like, they just like throw that in. Like,
why is your first memory of a piece of blood on a teacup? My first memory is of my parents and toy Fraggles. I think that's a decent first memory.
Yeah. I remember putting on all the jewelry in preschool. It was like the dress-up corner, and there were like plastic bracelets, and I put them all over my arms, and the necklaces, and I put bracelets on my ears, like earrings, and it was so cool. It was like my favorite. I was like, I'm doing this every day, and I think I probably did. So anyway, that's a real backstory. Hers, I don't buy it. I'm sure it was real for the character, but when she started saying it, I don't know. It was my favorite. I love it, and I think it's kind of ridiculous.
It's magically ridiculous.
Magically ridiculous. And one last thing. Junior had some great zingers tonight. Some great.
So did Big Jim.
I'm sorry. I
Big
meant
Jim.
to say Big Jim, and I said Junior. Oh, they're one in my head right now. Big Jim had some good lines. He was like, "Well, all of a sudden you're rah cure, Julia."
I really do think that the writers give Big Jim the best line.
This is what they work on the most in the writing room. They're like, what can Big Jim say tonight?
They're like, F the backstory. Give Big Jim some zingers.
We'll just make up the backstory the day before.
Right.
The morning of the shoot. Oh, I was 4 years old, and
I bled on a teacup.
And he called Eva Barbie's little side piece. And he was like, talking about spiders and killing spiders. And I was like, oh, the bug made the appearance too early.
Which it's dead, by the way, for the record.
We know that it's dead.
We know that
we
it's
did
dead.
not kill it, but we know that it's no longer here. Oh, but then, yeah, Big Jim, he was like, there's creepy crawlers. And he was comparing a pregnant spider with Ava being pregnant with the queen baby.
Although I did think he had a good point that he was saying we don't want these people to get outside the dome and multiply and take over the human race.
And he's
Which
like,
makes sense.
He's like, I wouldn't kill just any spider, but if there's one pregnant with the queen, new evil spider, I'm going to kill that spider because it's the right kind of spider. I was like, oh my God. So I had to say that because it was an enjoyable moment.
It was definitely an enjoyable moment. Okay, now into our
Predictions?
I don't actually want to say predictions, and I'm thinking, news and gossip. That's what I'm trying to say.
We're thinking about gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So they are selling set pieces for Under the Dome. They're selling set props and decorations.
Oh my god!
It started today. It ends on the 29th. It's in Wilmington at the MCO building, 802 North 23rd Street.
That's in my home state of North Carolina.
So if you are anywhere near there, you can go buy yourself a piece of Under the Dome.
Might have to call my dad.
You should call your dad. Call your dad and ask him to bring you Ava's bed
Excuse
from
me. Oh,
birthing.
no, not that. I would pick the amethyst.
The amethyst.
I want to bring it to the show. Oh
I would pick the tape recorder.
Ooh, good one.
Thanks. So, and also the show,
I would pick the egg. I don't even know what I would pick.
The show's not getting good live ratings, but it's getting good live +7, which is the DVR ratings. So they're hoping that the DVR ratings are enough for a renewal, but we don't know about a renewal yet. So now to our AfterBuzz TV predictions.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Okay, I made Jackie promise not to do a spoiler this week.
No, I'm not doing any spoilers. But
okay.
I will predict that the queen baby is going to be played by the same actress that played Ava. That's my prediction for this
Saw
week.
that in the preview.
That's my prediction.
That's a very bizarre haircut, by the way. Okay. This show only has 2 episodes left of the season. So, it's really hard to predict what's going to happen because each episode has held a lot of surprises, but I predict that Lily's father will be a key piece of information in the next couple weeks. I think whatever goes on with her dad is going to be the message to know what to do with everyone else.
Yes, because if they get destroyed under the dome and he goes out and impregnates everybody, then we are in a pickle.
You know what Jim Gaffigan says about pickles? They're just drunk cucumbers.
Aww.
I love Jim Gaffigan.
We'll leave you on that note. You can find me 123jackieb.com. Where can the people find you, Amanda?
You can find... I'm still laughing about the joke. Okay. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at The Runway Queen. And please tweet us. I'm trying to do my best to reply.
My show, Words, Wine, Women, is filming this weekend, so catch us on Periscope. We're going to be doing live Periscope of our behind-the-scenes
Words,
filming.
Wine, Women?
Yes, Words, Wine, and Women.
Ooh.
Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Thanks for listening to Under the Dome.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.